Hello everyone and welcome to Azam Sharp Weekly. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to the ExpressJS framework. This particular video is actually part of my 15-hour Node.js course. You can get the complete course by clicking on the link in the description. Thank you so much. So what exactly is Express or ExpressJS? ExpressJS is a framework that works or that runs on top of Node, and Node is basically ability to run the JavaScript on the server side. So Express run on top of Node and allows you very easily to create, run your server, take in requests, give responses. Now those responses can be JSON, text, HTML documents, and many different things. So Express is very, very cool. It allows you to really quickly set up your web server written in pure JavaScript using the Node package or the Node framework itself. And they do have a really good documentation. And this is literally all you need to get started. This is going to go ahead and start your server. So basically 7 lines of code and your server, Express server, is up and running. So you're going to see in the future that when I'm diving deep into Express, that how easily we can set up Express and we can do a static resources, authentication, sessions, and there's so many different packages that are built around Express to accommodate Express and to accommodate you as a developer to quickly set up your applications. So now that you have a basic idea of Express, let's go ahead in the next lecture and create our first Express application. All right, so now that you have an idea of what exactly is Express, let's go ahead and start building our first Express application by installing the packages related to Express and running the Express server. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm simply going to go ahead and create a folder on desktop, and I'm going to name it Hello Express. You can obviously name it anything you want. And inside this folder, I'm going to create my Node project. All right, so I already have my command line open over here. If I go over here and see, you can see my folder. I can simply jump into that folder by cd hello express, and once inside that folder, I can actually say npm init. All right, let's actually make it on a one line. There we go, npm init, and this is going to initialize my npm or a Node project. The name of the Node project, we're just going to give Hello Express, which is already the name of the folder. Perfectly fine. We're going to go over all of this. Just take on all the default settings, and that's perfectly fine. All right. So now what we want to do is we already have our project, which only consists of one file, which is packet.json. This is our Node project, and we want to use it in our, we want to install stuff to it. All right. So let's first go ahead and open this project. I'm going to open it in Atom. You can use any editor that you like. And I'm going to make sure that this is on a separate screen so we don't confuse ourselves. Currently in our package.json, it's pointing to the main file, which is index.js. This is fine. We don't really have any file called index.js. Usually I like to point to a file called app.js, but that's just my preference. And then I like to add a file called app.js. This will be our starting point of our application, the app.js, because this is our main file. So if I go to this file and run console.write hello world, it's going to print out hello world when I run the node command. We have already done that in the last section, right? Now, if we want to work with Express, we need to install Express as a package. This will be done from the command line. So I'm inside the folder called Hello Express, and I'm simply going to say npm install Express. And that's it. It's going to install Express. Go back to our code, and if you look at the package.json file, you will see the Express dependency, the package being added into the dependencies section in package.json, which basically means that you have already downloaded and installed the Express package. Now let's go ahead and use it. In app.js, I'm going to go ahead and write constant express equals to require Express. So this is the Express library. It has to be called Express. This part has to be Express. This variable can be obviously anything, but this has to be Express because we are using the Express library. And this is going to return you a function. If you call that function, which is Express, it is going to return you another function which will have other nested functions which you can use to basically get requests, post requests, and all sorts of different things. All right. Now, I'm writing this in app.js, and the reason I'm writing this in app.js is that in my package.json, we already updated line number 5 from index.js to app.js. So app.js is our main file now, and this is the file when we run node, this is going to run. So now we have created an instance of Express, or we have called the Express function, which returns a function, which is app. And now we need to call or to run our server. So we can call app.listen to a particular port, so 3000, and we can fire a function which will be fired when the server is actually running. So I can say server is running on port 3000. And that's pretty much it. That's all the code that you need to at least run the Express server. Let's go ahead and give it a try. I'm going to go back to my command line, and I'm going to say node app.js because that's our main file. And it will start the server on port 3000. Now, if I go to port 3000, if I localhost 3000, it's going to display a little bit of a different result. It's just going to say cannot get the root URL, and which is correct. We haven't really done anything with the URLs or routes or endpoints. We will cover that later on, but at least our server is actually running. Now, what happens if I, first of all, Control C to stop the server? So what happens if I go over here and say console.log hello world, okay? And I'm going to go over here and run the server again. You can see hello world. That's great. I'm going to go ahead and say bye world. But now the question is that how will it refresh, right? I mean, I have to actually stop the server and start the server again to get that new code that I just wrote. If I've updated my app.js code, I have to stop the server and start the server again, which may not really be that seamless because I will be adding a lot of code over here, and if I have to do stop the server and start the server again and again, I mean, that will take a lot of time. So how can we make sure that whenever we change our app.js file, the server is started or restarted automatically? And there is a different package that you can install to do that, and that package is called NodeMon, stands for Node Monitor. And in the next lecture, I'm going to show you that how you can work with NodeMon so that whenever you make a change in your app.js file, your main file, it will automatically restart. So let's go ahead and see how we can install and use NodeMon in the next lecture. In the last lecture, you learned that how you can start the Express server, and we did actually start the Express server on port 3000. But every time we had to make a change, we had to stop the server and we had to start the server again, which becomes cumbersome. And obviously, when we are writing a lot of code in app.js, that is not really going to work for us. We had to break down from our code, from our thinking, and it will become a barrier. So how can we improve that? Well, there's a tool called, or the package called NodeMon, which stands for Node Monitor. And you can install NodeMon by running npm install -g or -g, which stand for global NodeMon. And that's pretty much it. I mean, when you go ahead and install this, you will install NodeMon globally. So make sure you exactly run this command. It doesn't really matter which folder you are in. You can run this command from anywhere, and it will install NodeMon at a global level, which means that you can run NodeMon from any folder. So let's go ahead and see how it works. Now, I have already installed NodeMon. Let me go over and switch to our project. So I already have installed NodeMon, as I mentioned earlier. And if I go ahead and list a directory, I am in Hello Express right now. I'm going to go into that directory so I can see all the files that we have. And from there onwards, I'm going to simply say nodemon app.js. And that's pretty much it. That's all I have to do. Instead of node app.js, I have to say nodemon app.js. This is going to start nodemon, and it's also going to start looking at the app.js file, which I have open on the left-hand side. So see what happens if I go ahead and change something. So if I'm going to go over here and say hello world, and if I save it, automatically it actually restarts and give me the updated result. So I don't have to do Control C and then run it again. I can simply just carry on with my work and add some more lines of code or any kind of things I want to do, save it, and it automatically starts. So this is going to be very, very useful, and I highly encourage you and recommend you to download and install nodemon. As you can see, now you're editing your app.js file. You don't have to break from your work and start or stop the server again. It just automatically does that. So very, very, very important. In the next lecture, I'm going to show you that how we can actually create routes, and I'm just going to build a very, very simple route so that you have an idea of what exactly routes are. But there's a separate section for the routes, express routing, in which you will actually cover a lot of different things about the routes. But it's always a good idea to kind of like give you a sneak peek, which we're going to go do in the next lecture. Although we haven't really covered routes, but I'm just going to show you a sneak peek of what actually routes look like, just creating one small route, all right? And in the next section, we are going to take a deep dive into express routing, what kind of routes are available, how you can pass parameters and query strings, and how you can even create nested routes. So let's go ahead and create a very simple route. A route is basically a URL where you will go and it will return something, or you can post to that URL. Right now, we're creating a get route, which means that if you go over there, something will happen. So go over where? Well, go over, how about /hello? So that's the first argument, the name of the route. And the second argument is actually an anonymous function, which takes in the request and response. The variables, the request and response, obviously you can name them anything you want. They're just variables. And now you have ways to return something, and you should return something from a particular route. So what should we return when we go to /hello? /hello over here means that localhost 3000 /hello. So this is pretty much saying go over here. Localhost 3000, because 3000 is the port number we're using on line number 10, and hello. Okay? So what should we return? I'm just going to return response.send. This is the one that I'm sending back. Hello world. Just some text, nothing more. Not an HTML page, not JSON, not XML, just some text. So if I go to /hello, this is what should be returned. And that's all you need. I mean, this is Express that we are using, and it makes it so simple to create these kind of routes. And if you had to do this with Node, you will have to write, just with Node, pure vanilla Node, you will have to write a little bit of code to achieve that. But with Express, everything's become so simple, as you can see. Okay, so let's see what happens if we go to hello. Now, before we do that, make sure that your server is running. If your server is not running, and if I try to go to a particular route, /hello, well, nothing really happens because the server is not running. So we are inside our project folder, which is Hello Express. And now I can simply say nodemon app.js. And it's going to start the node and start the server on port number 3000. Now, if I go to hello, you can see that it's returning you the text hello, which is simply just sent to the browser, and that's it. So this is kind of like a very, very short preview or a teaser of Express routing or Express in general, and the power of Express also. In the next section, we are going to actually go over what exactly are routes, how you can pass parameters, query string, nested route, and so many different things. And then we're also going to learn about HTTP posts, because you have get, you have post, you have delete, you have update, you have patch, you have so many different HTTP protocols. Most common one are get, delete, post, and update. There are some other ones also, but usually you'll be using those four. All right. So hopefully you have a little bit of idea of Express by now. And next section is very, very important, because we are going to cover routes, what exactly are routes, and how we can build them. So if you're ready, let's go and jump into Express routing.